Hello, everybody. Going to do the week ahead, and that is the week of October 17th to the 23rd. So that finishes up the sun in the sign of Libra, because on the 23rd, the sun enters the sign of Scorpio. So we have a lot to talk about. So we're going to share the screen. There it is. And we're going to get started. Fantastic. All right. So the first thing I wanted to talk about would be Monday, October 17th. And what we have here is the last quarter moon. So what we're seeing is when the moon is still coming towards the sun, because Cancer comes before Libra. So that means the moon is moving its way towards the sun because it's the quicker one. And so last quarter. So when we're in a last quarter moon, and that is the moon in the sign of Cancer, it's pretty intense as well, because it is just 2 degrees off of being in an opposition with Pluto. And so, yeah, we have some intensity here. So when we have this moon, this final quarter, so the waning lunar phase, we're finishing up a family matter of some kind. It's something that we're very emotionally connected to. It's always what the moon in Cancer is about. You know, once a year we have that new moon. And so it's important, of course, this is important really for our country, for the nation, the United States. Not everybody's there, but that's important for us, since this is our Pluto. We are a Cancer nation, and the moon's in Cancer, etc. That just means that this is a really big time for all of us. But on that personal level, let's bring that back. Bring that back to that personal level. If you find that, look and see if 24 degrees, if you have anything at 24 degrees, because that's where this moon is. So 24 Cancer, where does it reside for you? I mean, for me, it's actually in my 4th house. So I know there's an issue around home and family, and not an issue meaning that there's something wrong. It's just something that's in our awareness. The lunar phase for this started a long time ago, 270 degrees ago. So that was 200, yes, 27 months ago. I don't know what I just said, but it started a long time ago, and it started smack dab in the middle of the pandemic. So the new moon that's related to October 17th, 2022's last quarter was on July 20th at July 20th, 2022. Geez, let me spit that out. It's a little struggle right there. Sorry about that. Let's look at the charts. That's why I was trying to do a couple things at the same time. At 28 degrees, and that was the new moon that was beginning. So we were starting, something was being stirred up. What was being stirred up for the whole freaking world was our security, our home, our security, what that looked like. That's what was being stirred up for everybody in one way or another. At that point, it was opposite Saturn. It was not opposite Pluto. It was opposite Pluto, but it's a over 5 degrees separating. So it was opposite Saturn. So that increased the intensity of the energy of that new moon in Cancer, increased it. Like, do we really feel secure? Saturn opposition. The next quarter, the first quarter, was April 20th, 2021. All right, here it is. And this one is shifted into Leo. Yeah, it did. So even though it's measures as its opposite, it's not. We just want to ignore that opposition. It's an out of sign opposition. If they were truly opposite, the moon would be in Cancer. So this was the next phase, though, from that new moon in July of 2020, first quarter, April of 2021. There's the date in the top left-hand corner. So here we would have been able to see what we were growing, what we began back in, or what was initiated back in that July period. Here it is of 2020. And now we're there. Okay, so it just tells us, and it shows us that there's this energy around what's building. Do we have another one that's in Cancer? Yes, we do. The next one's in Cancer, and that is the full moon that we had on January 17th of 2022 this year. So, we're now 180 degrees away, and this was a full, complete, total awareness. So look back to January 17th, 2022. Oh, yeah. 2 days after this, my landlady handed me a notice telling me she wasn't renewing my lease. So that was my family thing, my home, my insecurity, all stirred up again at that point in time. Right now, I'm fine. You guys know that. But that's just an example. It can be very literal, it can really be what's going on with your home. All right. And then again, we are back to today's the last quarter moon on October 17th, coming up on Monday, 24 Cancer. So there's something here that we're releasing, we're finishing up, we're tying up lots of loose ends. And with the square to the sun, that's what that represents, tying up those loose ends. But with that moon opposite Pluto at this moment in time, it really shows me that there is something where Pluto's direct, we're able to take power, control, feel like we are in charge of something, figure out what that is for you. That's what that last quarter is all about. That was a lot of talking. That was a lot, because it really does. Those lunar gestation phases do tie into a lot of energy that is prior to that time period. All right. As well, on Monday, this is just after 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we have the sun making the trine aspect. Here's the sun at 24 Libra. Here's Mars at 24 Gemini. If you are fortunate enough to have something at 24 Aquarius, then the planets in the sky will make a grand trine in air. But what does it mean when Mars and the sun and Mars are in a trine aspect? This is beautiful for thoughts. It's an air trine, thoughts, ideas, harmony, balance. This is the only time this is going to happen, because the sun's going to continue to move on. Mars will come back to 24 degrees when it starts its retrograde at the end of the month. So we have this energy from Monday as well as that last quarter. So it's motivating. I like it because it gives us an opportunity to take some action. And you can tell, let me go back one chart, that the moon, when it's in Cancer and when it's in Capricorn, it is always out of bounds. It's really high in the sky. So when you're looking for it, you have to really crank your neck back when it's out in the sky, because that means it's very high. This side is north. And it feels more, oh yeah, it feels more of what it is. All right, next we're going on to Tuesday, October 18th. This isn't until 10:20 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and this is when Venus and Mars are in a trine aspect. Venus and Mars, it's right here. It looks a little off, but it's not. They're at 24. You can also see it over here in the aspectarian, teaching you how to read the chart and teaching you how to see it. If you want to see it easily, whenever you pull up software, you can look at the aspectarian. That's what this is called. There's Mars. Shit. Sorry. This is Mars's row. That's Venus's column. So that means that wherever they meet up, that's their block. So there's the exact aspect between Venus and Mars. It's a trine. That's super beneficial too, because that's that air trine. That means Venus in Libra loves the relationship. Trining Mars in Gemini. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it. Let's figure things out. It's just a love of words. So it can be in relationship, if you will, but it can also be that we're working towards just writing something out that just feels wonderful and good for us. So we just need to write something out. It feels great. That's what that energy is about, that air energy. Content, information. Yeah, it's real good. All right. Next. And this is Wednesday, 9:33 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And here's the sun, and it is making a square aspect over here to Pluto, which means Venus is going to do that real soon too. So when the sun makes its square aspect, let me get my face out of the way. When the sun makes the square aspect to Pluto, we're definitely going to be, taking back some power, taking back some control. Don't be a doormat. We really want to find out what is, where do I have control? What's important in that control? It is cardinal. We almost have this grand crossing cardinal. You can see it in the chart. It's super wide. The moon's needs to move forward just a little bit, but you can see, no, that's not it. But there is a grand trine here. I mean, a Grand Cross. There we go. I was looking at the wrong thing. Sorry. Because that is very different from the Sun and Venus at 25, 26, and they square that. So it's a different square. But hey, so this one with Venus, the nodes, and Saturn is very fixed. And so that happens around, 9, 10 in the morning on Wednesday, the October 19th. So you could be aware of what do we got going on here? You can be wary of things not moving forward easily because it's just fixed, it's solid. But let's get to the back to the Sun square Pluto. Taking back your power, taking back your control, find what is balancing. Don't be a doormat, just get in alignment with what you want to be in charge of and control, okay? On the very next day, we have Venus. Venus, not until the next day on the 20th, 2 in the morning. So let's go back one chart on the 19th. You can see Venus is still in play. I mean, it's a degree away from Pluto. So it's in play already for a couple days before the dates I give you. So, more about, finding that balance. We really need to find that control and that balance. Here it is, Venus and the Sun squaring Pluto. Venus is moving super fast right now. She's hanging out right there. There's this initiation that happens when any planet conjuncts the Sun, and that's happening right now too. And with it squaring Pluto, that means as far as the feminine goes, and you can read other people, but the divine feminine, which is Venus, conjunct the Sun, which is the solar feminine, they call it, squaring Pluto, it creates a opportunity for you to, go deep within yourself, Pluto. Venus conjunct the Sun burns off whatever's extra in the ego that we don't need. So this is an opportunity to release some ego, some egotistical feelings or things that you seem to be hanging on to. It's a really good opportunity to transform that energy. All right, moving on to Saturday, October 22nd. Grab my ephemeris here. Saturday, October 22nd, we have Mercury making a quincunx to Uranus early in the morning. Now, Mercury is now out of its shadow as well, just as a reminder. So we need to make this is some wacky, crazy ideas. First off, Mercury to Uranus, but be open for some really wacky thoughts and ideas to come through. Why not? Figure out what you want to do on Saturday and just find a way just to be different and unique and just out of the box. And the quincunx between these two signs, Libra and Taurus, Uranus and Mercury, is, we got to make some adjustments, but step out of your comfort zone on Saturday. Find something fun and different to do. Now, we also have on this day, Venus and the Sun. This is when they make their exact conjunction at 29 Libra. So what I already said about them, making that connection with Pluto, because Venus and the Sun, they're pacing each other. Venus is moving faster than the Sun. She is going to go past the Sun. And so I do believe, I could be wrong. Wait a minute. Let's double check. That's the wrong chart. Even that's the wrong chart. Give me a second. There we are, Sun conjunct Venus. Let's see who's going faster. Yes, she is. So I knew that. I just didn't trust what I thought I knew. Okay, back to, here's that chart. So what does that mean? Again, it means that, Venus is having everything stripped. 29 degrees of anything is the critical degree, meaning that we feel a sense of heightened awareness. This is the last day of the Sun in Libra, the last day of Venus in Libra. So relationships, especially here in New England, since it's happening in the 7th house, the house placements is going to be different depending on where you live. But if you're in New England, it's going to be in the 7th house. So there's a big highlight on, the debates and who you debate with and who you're involved with and the partnerships and contracts, etc. So there's a lot going on there. Boy, whether it's lawyers, a realtor, a spouse, a lover, a business partner, there's a lot going on there, especially if you're in the Eastern time zone, because that's when it's in this house. I don't usually talk about the houses, but since I'm here, I figured I will. All right, here we have on October 22nd as well. This isn't until 9 p.m. This is when Venus makes a trine, Mercury makes a trine to Saturn at 18 degrees. So Libra, Aquarius, Saturn stationary, so it's getting ready to move forward. And its station will be 9:07 p.m. Pacific time, 12 a.m. Eastern time on September 23rd. But in the meantime, that means Saturn is stationary. See the red S? That means it's still retrograde, facing retrograde, but it is stationary. Mercury trining that. To me, that's like, if we have an idea and we can't just get past it, common sense, I hope, but sometimes we have an idea and we feel like writers, it's like writer's block. That Mercury in Libra has had a lot of really good interaction with it, as long as we can make those adjustments. But the trine is easy because they're the same element, those elements are great aspects when they're the same element. So take some time while you are, while you might be thinking of some new thoughts and some ideas. So that's Saturday night. Here's Sunday into Sunday, because Mercury, while Saturn goes stationary direct, Mercury is still well within play. And that happens again here on the East Coast at just 8 minutes after midnight on Sunday, the 23rd. So we need to focus on, if we feel, on writing information, content. That's one way to look at it. We're in the balsamic lunar phase. So, it could be that we're writing a lot of stuff out. Most people do this just at the full moon, but it's not, you don't have to just write out stuff and burn it just at the full moon. You don't have to do that. You can do that anytime that the moon is in a waning phase. Okay. So I want you to pay attention to that too, that waning lunar phase, that balsamic lunar phase. We can still continue to write things out. The moon on this day is opposite Jupiter as well. Sun, Venus still at 29. And then, so that's that finalizing of things. And then Mercury making that trine aspect to Saturn as it's stationary to go direct. Okay. So that's pretty significant. That's quite significant. Yeah, tying up a lot of loose ends. Because things are getting pretty crazy soon. We're about to have an eclipse. I'll talk about that for the people who are in the month ahead forecast. I'm a week late this month. I forgot to send out the notice for last Wednesday night. Sorry, guys. My bad. All right, and the final thing for Sunday, October 23rd at 3:52 a.m. And this is when Venus enters the sign of Scorpio. So when Venus is going to spend about 2.5 weeks in that sign, just under 3. And so while she is in that sign, that's a whole different place. Venus loves to be in Libra. That's her sign, right? She rules Taurus, she rules Libra. So our major focus is on how balanced we are in our relationships. However, when she does get into the sign of Scorpio, this is an intense place for Venus to be. She's going deeper. I mean, she just was in the underworld with Pluto with the sun. When she's right next to the sun, they consider her like the Persephone story, and she's in the underworld with Hades. But it just happens to be once every 8 years while they make the conjunction, as she's just about in Scorpio. She is in an underworld type feeling. And what that means is it's like we step into this place of transformation of our values, Venus, that strong heroine energy. So we can, again, control and gather our strength and our power. Venus got a quick hit of it when she was at the very end of Libra and making that square to Pluto. Now she's in Pluto's sign, so that is even a deeper opportunity for us to go deep in our emotions and to, really, just to go deeper in our emotions and what we feel, what we love, what we value. We have these opportunities to do all of that. Yeah, right. Hmm. So that's what we got going on there. And let me open up the forecast for, I have two of them for Scorpio. Well, isn't that interesting? I don't know which one is this one. I wonder why I have two. All right, here is the sun in the sign of Scorpio. This is when it happens, Sunday, October 23rd, 6:36 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So both Venus and the sun are at 0 Scorpio, making that quincunx aspect over there to Jupiter. Again, more about adjustments. It's going to go quick because it's a quick aspect, because these guys will move it 1 degree a day. So it will be over with before Sunday is done. But it's, we are stepping into the fixed sign of fall. So this is about, this is all when we have all the eclipses, elections. It's going to be a very Scorpio time. We're going to see the yuck come to the surface even more than we ever have before. But we're here. We can do it. Take it in small doses in the best way that is good for you. I know it feels frustrating, and it feels like, wow, how can we endure anymore? But at least here in the US, we don't live in a war zone, and that's something else too. Oh, prayers to everybody who's in harm's way. All right. See you next week, guys. Blessings.